Is the mysterious Asema killer who's terrorizing the underworld of Gotham actually a face from Bruce Wayne's past? Well, let's hop into the pages of Detective Comics issue number 1092 and find out together, shall we? So then, as we rejoin the story, Batman and Damian are training in the cave. Batman's physicality has greatly improved ever since his Sangrel treatment in the last issue. The only problem is Batman doesn't trust this stuff, and as such, he is running tests to try and figure out what exactly makes this miracle drug tick. And wouldn't you know it, after digging a little deeper, he realizes that this thing is filled with foreign platelets, you know, the stuff that's in blood. That's a pretty damn good clue, and the dynamic duo won't have to wait long before the next big clue ends up dropping in their lap. It seems that Kai, the boy they had saved at the end of the previous issue, had been murdered in his safe house, once again by the mysterious Asema killer, only it gets a lot more complicated than that, as Bullock tells Batman that someone very high up in the food chain is leaning on Commissioner Savage to make it so the GCPD can't investigate the scene. This means Batman has to go himself, and what he finds is really grisly. Not only is Kai dead, but he's also completely desiccated, his blood having been stolen. This turn of events actually ends up hitting Damian harder than anyone else. He was the one who spirited Kai away here, and now Robin feels like he's failed. Before the Boy Wonder can properly process these feelings, though, the scene ends up getting combed over by a group of black-suited G-men. Normally, in a situation like this, Batman would slink away into the shadows and fight another day, discretion being the better part of valor and all that, but he's mad. This kid was under the Bat family's protection. Damian's feelings are hurt, and also, you know, with youth comes recklessness, so because of that, the dynamic duo decides to beat the ever-loving crap out of these guys to pump them for information. To their credit, they are pretty tight-lipped on who exactly they're working for. Thankfully, Batman is able to steal one of their wallets and discover they work for a company called LXR. Oracle can't find any mention of them in any database, but they do find one pretty obvious clue, and that is that their company logo is a cup. Oh no, wait, not a cup at all, a grail, as in Sangrail, Holy Grail, Fountain of Youth, all that good stuff. You don't have to be the world's greatest detective to put together the fact that the missing blood, these murdered young men, and this brand new miracle drug are almost certainly linked. It's the next day at his checkup with Dr. Scarlett Scott. Bruce tries to turn on the charm to try and gain more information about what exactly is going on with Sangrel. He says that he would like to invest his considerable fortune into this brand new miracle drug, only for Scarlett to completely shut her down. She's clearly afraid of someone and says that she already kind of went above her initial investors' heads to try and get Bruce on the client list. Bruce isn't giving up though. When the business approach fails, he decides to go after her as a person, inviting her to dinner. That ends up turning awkward incredibly quickly when Bruce brings up the subject of Scarlett's mother. Apparently, the life-saving wonder drug that Sangrel wasn't even enough to try and help Scarlett's poor, tragic mother, which honestly has me jumping to the conclusion that maybe she's actually Asema. Scarlett ends up storming out of the dinner, but because this is Gotham City, both her and Bruce end up walking directly into a mugging. Bruce assumes that he'll have to save the day, but also make it look not like he's secretly Batman, but at the end of the day, he doesn't have it, because wouldn't you know it, expert geneticist Dr. Scarlett is actually a pretty damn amazing hand-to-hand combatant herself. She says you don't get into the life-extending business without first learning to protect your own, which certainly makes a kind of sense, but also strengthens the idea that, yeah, she could also very well be Asema still. In the end, this wanton violence really ends up saving the evening, as Bruce and Scarlett both agree they're both pretty hot under the collar now after having fought side by side, and because of that, they decide to skip dinner and go right to dessert. And all I gotta say is, damn, Bruce, what makes this rendezvous more taboo for you? The fact that you just bedded Joe Chill's secret child? Or the fact that your father happened to help deliver your latest romantic conquest? Oh, and her middle name is also in honor of your departed mother. Oh, who am I kidding? Batman is such a massive rolling ball of Freudisms, I'm sure these are all massive W's in his mind. Now, don't get it twisted, this wasn't all fun and games. When Scarlett leaves to go to the bathroom, Batman is sure to put a bug inside her computer and copy all of her important business files. Back at the cave, too, Damian and Barbara also give Batman the side eye. Oh yeah, Bruce and Batman really teamed up on this caper, didn't they? Oracle looks through the files, and while she finds no actual connection between Scarlett, Sangrel, and LXR, what she does end up finding might actually be more damning, though. We know that all the dead boys who were attacked by Asema just so happened to have been newly released from juvenile detention. Well, wouldn't you know it, though, on top top of being in the drug business, Scarlet Scott also just so happens to be in the juvenile prison business. Meaning as the comic comes to a close, there might be a very good chance that Batman is sleeping with the enemy, and I mean, hey, wouldn't be the first time. And so that was Detective Comics issue number 1092, and I gotta say, this might be my favorite issue in the arc so far, and it's honestly one where we actually didn't have that much Batman action. The focus was squarely on Bruce for a change, and honestly, I gotta say, I like that a lot. We don't really get as many stories like this anymore, where stuff from Bruce's personal life ends up bleeding into his work as Batman, and honestly, it's cool for a change. Likewise, Batman doesn't really experiment with new love interests or girlfriends anymore. Again, I'm certain that this won't last longer than an arc and that it's probably just one small fling, but still, you know, nice to see. The actual mystery of who Asema could possibly be under the mask is also getting really fascinating too. At first, I thought it was obviously Scarlet, but she seems to be afraid of her investors. She's got a missing mother, and overall the plot is just starting to thicken now, and I'm really getting excited about this, especially when we stop and remember that this arc actually began with a whole mystery who's under the bag. Bit of foreshadowing that actually has me really invested now in seeing that part of the story paid off. Overall, I would feel comfortable giving this one a very strong 8.5 out of 10. I knew Tom Taylor taking over Detective Comics was going to be good, and I think now he's really starting to hit his stride on this story, and if they can keep this momentum moving forward, I think we're going to be in for an all-timer here.
Hey there everyone, it's your old pal Cape Joel again, thanking you so much for watching to the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, why not check out my Amazon link down in the description. Yes, that's right, the Cape Joel channel officially has its own Amazon storefront now. You can pick up a comic or anything else for that matter, and if you did, you'd really be helping me in the channel. So with that out of the way everyone, I will see you again next time. Bye-bye.